Blog Talk Radio.
Hitting you on Regine. Are you ready? Let's go. Please give me a minute. I wanna give you some. It's an invite to a party. We're go up and for my place. Melody, baby. Let them call their bubble. Everybody's on check, 'cause Mr. DJ's on deck. Let's get busy. Body busy. Let's get busy. Body busy. Body busy. Let's get busy. Body busy. Let's get busy. Body busy. Do you know this is how we roll? Do you know? If you know, you like to party, oh, so come let's go. There's more bottle for you and me, plenty vodka and a sea, yeah. It's so clear to see today we making memories, yeah. I'm a fella to the left, my lady's alright. Everybody's on check, 'cause Mr. DJ's on deck. Let's get busy, body busy. Let's get busy, body busy. Let's get busy, body busy, body busy. Let's get busy, body busy. Where you go, home ladies, where you go. See, I love the way you move when you step into the groove. Yeah, where you go, Mr. DJ, where you go. Like you put me in the mood and you make me wanna move. There's no better for you and me, plenty vodka and a sea. Yeah, it's so beautiful and lovely memory. Yeah, all my ladies say yeah, yeah. All my fellas say yeah. Put your hands up in the air and dance like you just don't care. Give me a minute, I wanna give you some. It's an invite to a party. We're go up and for my place. Melody, baby. Let them call their bubble. Everybody's on check, 'cause Mr. DJ's on deck. Let's get busy, body busy. Let's get busy, body busy, body busy. Let's get busy, body busy. Let's get busy, body busy.
You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move Unscripted on Purpose with me and my ladies. We're here for our roundtable discussion that we do every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Blog Talk Radio. We do it live. And then, of course, we rebroadcast it on iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, and all over around the world. So anyway, how are my ladies doing today? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all living? How's life?
Super dope, and super dope.
Phenomenal.
Did I mention it was super dope?
Phenomenal.
So wait a minute, DJ, you was in Atlanta with Kim this week, right?
I was in Atlanta and I went to visit Kim. Yes, I did. I saw my girl, and I saw my girl.
So, Kim, was this her first time ever going to Sparkles? This your first time ever going? You took her to Sparkles?
We didn't get a chance to go this time around. She's been before, but we didn't get a chance to go this time.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find this freaking video.
No. It's all good. I mean, Sparkles will be there. She'll be back. Y'all will be back here. We're going to do this as a sister group. How about that? Sister trip. Y'all come in here. We're gonna do the thing.
Right.
So, yeah,
Right.
it'll happen.
So how was it? How was your trip? Huh?
It was nice. I got work done, which I'm excited to share about that. But I went to visit I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, a farm where they grow fresh natural fruits and vegetables and herbs. So that was really cool.
Okay.
And and went to a little restaurant, Mexican restaurant. I mean, had a great time and was able to go and see the site where the young man was killed, and I know his name. It's off the top of my tongue, so you guys may want to help me, please.
Arbery.
That was
Arbery.
No.
Oh, y'all went to
in Atlanta. Actually, in Atlanta, the most recent one where the Wendy's was burnt down, I actually went live.
Oh, okay.
And was able to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, was able to go there. There were some incidents that happened even after that horrible tragedy where they were protecting their community. So by going to stand there and see and witness the aftermath of that, and see the memorial right standing up and close, it just kind of brought more awareness to things that are going on around the world and how we, the ones that are, doing things in the community, making impact. There's work to be done.
Absolutely.
Right.
But love going to Atlanta. So love it, and we'll be back. Can't wait to come back.
Yeah, Atlanta is a place where it's like you can't help but fall in love with Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? You cannot help but fall in love with Atlanta. Like Atlanta has so much to offer, especially for people who are independent or you're artists or you're all that kind of stuff. Just don't come thinking that Atlanta's no pushover. Don't come thinking that.
Okay. That part.
Yes.
A lot of people have stars in their eyes, Kim, and they just like, I'm going to Atlanta and I'm going to make it big, and they ain't got no kind of plan. They ain't got no kind of job. They plan on staying with their cousin, best friend on the couch and stuff. They ain't got no, I'm going to find it out when I get there. Oh, okay.
Right, yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah. So how did it feel? Well, did y'all do a live? Kim, did you and DJ do a live together at all?
I did. Well, I did a live, not really directly with her, but she was here. You probably see her in the background.
I was able to witness the Queen Goddess doing her thing. Doing her thing. It was an interesting show. There were I think there were people talking up until past 10. So. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had some callers. We had like 4 callers. So it was dope. Mm-hmm. It was dope. She was actually to sit in and really see how it goes. So yeah, we did it live. You just don't see her.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you know what? We're going DJ, you and I, at some point, I know not now because, of course, you just came back, but you and I, me, you, Misty, Armory, we're all going to have to make that trip to Atlanta and do a live in Atlanta. We're going to have to do that. That has got to be our plan. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I just got back. It doesn't matter because God is opening up so many doors and opportunities. It don't matter if I just came back. If I came, I can go again. So,
amen.
It doesn't. So whenever you guys want to talk about it, and I know Kim will welcome us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, because the last time we did a live together, Kim was.
I know Atlanta's where I'm gonna get my skate.
Yes, indeed.
The last time we was all together, Kim came to Columbus, Ohio. So now we got to go to her.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna turn up. We're gonna turn up a certain kind of way.
Yeah, we're gonna turn up. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that today would be a good day to to discuss some, like last week we did some kind of more gentler stuff just to give a break, because we've been covering really hot, heavy topics. So last week while y'all were in Atlanta, we kind of talked about appreciating where we're at, like thanking God for where we are, you know what I'm saying, for what we have, stuff like that. And that was kind of like the basis of the show last week. But, stuff be happening in America like on a daily basis. And every time you're ready to calm down and just kind of like chill, some other stuff comes. So, I figured that this week it would be a good thing to talk about some stuff that has popped up. And one thing that has popped up has been, have you heard about the nurses? Well, I'm actually looking it up on I've seen it going around on YouTube, on Facebook, and then I pulled it up, but they have, I guess it's pronounced Reuters. Is it called Reuters? Reuters? Is that Reuters?
Yeah.
Or Reuters?
Yeah.
Reuters or Reuters? Which one?
Reuters.
Reuters.
Okay.
What is it? What is it now?
It's Reuters. It's this. I guess it's like this is like an online magazine.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. It's something like that. So anyway, they reported a story of this nursing home called Life Care Centers of America, and it was talking about how one nurse was fired and another one banned from the premises after the two were quoted in this online magazine or the Reuters investigation, or rather Reuters investigation detailing horrific conditions, at the nursing home. And so I'm like, when I heard that, because I've been in the medical field as a nurse. I know, Kim, you've had some experience with the nursing homes and stuff like that. So, and I'm not sure about you, DJ. I know R. Marie's a nurse. I think Misty has dealt with nursing homes. So I know we all have had our experience in one way or another. And I thought it was a good topic to talk about because they really need to start mandating these nursing homes better. They really, really do. So they fired this woman for talking about what was going on in the nursing homes. And I'm not going to go into detail about the article because I don't know what's real, what's factual, what's not. But what I do know from my own experience is that most of the time these nursing homes are not properly staffed. Like, you'll have one nurse. This is from experience. So I'm not talking. This is from experience. You'll have one nurse and 50 patients that you're responsible for. It might be a facility of 250, 300 patients, maybe 400, 500, 600 people. One nurse has to give medication to 50 to 60 people 2 to 3 times within an 8-hour period, because you got your breakfast, you got your morning med pass, then you got your evening med pass, your afternoon med pass, you got your evening med pass, and then you might have, if you don't have a treatment nurse, you got some treatments in between, and it's like you're assembling nurse to all these people, and then you might have 1 or 2 aides for a whole 50 people. We ain't even talking about G2s, we ain't talking about trachs and all that other stuff, and people who cannot move. You got 3 people taking care of 50 people, and they don't understand why so many people so many elderly people in the nursing home passed away from the coronavirus. Come on now. It's not like there are a lot of horrible things that's going on, and I guess these nurses are talking about it, and they got fired. So what are y'all thoughts about it?
Well, this is Deshawn, and I don't know what the answer is because of currently you are not able to go and physically be there with your loved one that's in the care of somebody else. Before all this, I had grandparents and family members that are now gone but were in nursing homes, and you have to be there all the time, sure that they are being cared for properly. So now that you can't go in the facility, I'm not sure what the answer is, and I really don't agree with that method. And then I know Kim can talk personally because she has a loved one, I believe,
right.
Kim, that's still in a facility where she can't even go see, not only see her loved one, but see the type of care that's being administered. Because when there's
right.
accountability, just like with anything else, with your kids in school, when you show up, you're going to get a different, you're going to have a different experience because they know whoever it is, they got to be accountable. So
right.
I don't know. Kim can probably speak on that. I don't know I couldn't imagine having someone that was sick and I wasn't able to be there. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult thing to deal with, and they are very understaffed. I don't know what the reason would be for that. Well, I would know now. It's probably got more people afraid to even be in that type of environment. But like prior to, one of the things is like people have gotten less concerned and compassionate anyway toward older people. That's one thing. So that could be one of the deterring factors of why they're not working in that type of environment. You might have less facility schooling that's even offering that type of care. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different type of care. That's different than what I do or just straight out nursing. There's something different about that. And you have to have a natural compassion to want to take care of somebody that cannot take care of themselves. If you're going into that type of position looking for a check, you're going to have a problem. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a different mindset to just be in that environment anyway, to want to help people. Everybody who's in a service industry has to have some kind of natural calling to be in a service industry. That's just my view, because you have to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And the monetary reward cannot be the first thought to go into wanting to serve somebody. It can't be the first thing into wanting to help somebody. It has to be a natural flow. And if it's not, it becomes an issue. So you're dealing with the mind frame of people. You're dealing with probably the underpayment of people. You're dealing with not enough education or not enough proper training for people to be in that type of facility, in that type of environment. Well, as far as like my personal experience with that, not being able to have contact with my mother. I mean, we are in a different state, but still, when I come up there, I want to be able to look her in the face. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to look her nurses in the face and find out what's going on. And I understand that they're concerned, about their health. We ain't gonna go into that for real, but the downfall of that is their health will decline the longer they don't have access and communication and interaction with their families. That's important. That's important for people who are not in a facility, to be able to communicate with other people, to be able to interact with other people, to be able to get that touch from other people. That's necessary for our health. So they are being deprived of the very thing that will help them live. They're being deprived of these things. That is a problem. That contributes to the population control. That contributes to the death rate.
It does.
You know what? The other problem is the facilities are not willing to pay. They're not willing to pay for more staff. That's the problem. Because even if you had a shortage of full-time employees, there are many agencies who are willing to come in and send their nurses in or whatever, because the nurses through agencies get paid more. But they won't split up the care equally so that one nurse is not overwhelmed. Can you imagine, in all honesty, if you can't, please visualize this, one nurse going down taking care of 50 people. Now, for the ones who you can pop a pill in their hand and they can say, okay, that's my lisinopril, that's my Xanax, or whatever they're taking, and pop it in their mouth, okay, that's easy. But what are you talking about then? Because that's not all you have. You have G2 patients where you got to go and flush them. You got trach patients, you got to go suck them. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on. You got to crush it up, and you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of responsibility. Then you got to turn around again and do it at 2. You do it at 7. Then you got to come document. You got to do dressing change. You got to come back and do the next med pass at 12. You got to help feed if you don't got enough age to feed. Then don't let family come in when they could come in. See, all this is before COVID-19. Now that y'all can't even go in there, it's even worse. Because now y'all can't even go and see if there's only one nurse and one aide for 50 people now, because ain't nobody there. You know what I'm saying? So it's even worse. It's even worse.
I definitely
the nursing homes don't want to pay.
I understand that. So my thing would be, why not have people in there that have different positions? Okay, let's just say the 3 of us are in that situation. I'm good at one thing. Okay, so I'm in charge of doing this one thing. Patricia, you're good at doing something else. DJ, you're good at doing something else. If there is a regular flow, different people doing different things, you wouldn't have to worry about one person being bombarded with having to do 99 things for one person at a time, and you got 99 people to do it for. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough people who have separate skills or responsibilities, if you will, to take care of those people. There should be a different kind of flow, and I'm not, blaming anybody per se, but the flow of it needs to be different. Everybody needs to be assigned. They need to be assigned. This is what you do. This is what you do. This is what you do. Put it on the timing. I don't know what it is. I can't speak for it because I don't work in that industry like that, so I can't speak for it. But if there were more people that had less responsibility, then more would probably get done. That's just my thought.
Right.
If I had to take care of 50 people and I had to do 99 things to all of them, as opposed to I can take care of 50 people and only have one thing to do, that's different.
Right.
Because I can focus on what I have to do. I can make sure that these 50 people are getting exactly what they need. They're going to get quality work from me because I don't have to rush through it. I don't have to worry about if I skip the step or if I skip anybody for that matter, because this is all I do.
Right. So that's awesome in an ideal world, but for anyone who is actually in the medical field and you have had to work in a nursing home, you know how hard it is to take care of 50 people when you got 3 of them as G2 flushes, you know what I'm saying, which means you have to crush up each medication and you have to flush it individually down this tube. And then not only that, if you got trach, you got to go suction somebody or change their trachs. It's a lot of stuff for one nurse. We have that many people. They should be mandating where one nurse cannot be responsible for more than, say, depending on their care status, their care level, shouldn't be responsible for more than maybe 15 people at a time, depending on what their care level is. If they're all independent and they can take their pills, of course, you could do 30 of them, 40 of them. But if they're not, that's too much for one nurse. I have been in places where they have literally bombarded me. I come in there, I'm ready, I do my shift, you know what I'm saying? You got one of them came back from the ER, they got an IV, so you got to deal with that because they're still on antibiotics. It's a lot. The nursing homes are not properly staffed, and most of the time it's because they're not willing to pay. They're not willing to pay for agency, and they don't pay the aides enough, and the aides do the hardest job because they got to go get people clothes, take people's clothes off, get them to the bathroom, change them if they, messed up on themselves, feed them. They got a lot to do, and they don't want to pay them no freaking money. It's just horrible. So what really tripped me out is Cuomo. What's his name? Cuomo, the governor in New York. So he came on. Is his name Cuomo? Am I pronouncing it right? The governor in New York. So he's a really good governor. He's a really good governor. But he came on and he was talking to people, and they are blaming him for 5,000 deaths of elderly people during the coronavirus period. And I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, most of them were in nursing homes. I'm like, but you can't blame him for something that's happening all over the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The issue in nursing homes is all over the country. And then let's not even talk about their drug addiction, because they'll come in with some narc, and they'll keep them on that narc, and the nursing homes will give them that medication whether they're in pain or not. And so they get to the point where they become an addict. And so they up at that cart, you would think that they was at the methadone clinic. You know what I'm saying? It's horrible. Right. Yeah, it's really bad. They need to mandate these nursing homes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And then for your family members to not be able to even go in there at this point to see what's going on, that's correct. Especially for the ones who cannot speak.
Right. And I praise God that my parents, they're in their 70s, but I can't imagine if they were in the hospital, in a facility, and I couldn't go see them. I don't know if I would even abide by the rules. Like, I mean, I know how I feel now, and if that was really so, I don't know. I'm like, you are not going to tell me I can't see my parents. Are you, like, but I know there's so many variants in that. I just can't, I just couldn't imagine. And then I know a lady from our church, her husband was in the hospital for a couple months, and he ended up passing away. And she never got to go. She never, like that's horrible. Oh, I can't talk about it. Like,
oh yeah, they're telling people if your folks are in hospice. Can you imagine your significant other being in a hospital and you can't go see them? Like, that's like to me, that's something else. Indeed.
Like, I can put on a mask, I can put on a whole outfit, but I'm going to go see my loved one that I may not see again, that will not come home.
Yep.
Like,
if your loved one is dying, you can come say goodbye, though.
Like, that's too much control for me. That's too much control.
But see, the problem is if like, let's say they have dementia, right? So, because some people will keep their family at home and bring in home health, which is the type of nurse that our Marie is, home health nurses. I'm keeping my family member at home. I'm bringing home health. But then sometimes their care gets to the point where the caregivers truly can't do it, like if they're advanced dementia, because a lot of times they will fight the slop out of you. They'll wander off. They're all kind of stuff. Their care becomes such a total care that for whatever reason they cannot handle. So they have to put them in a nursing home. But it's just sad because the nursing homes need to be mandated. And then think about all the ones whose families passed away and they didn't even get to bury them. Like, that's another thing that hurts my heart. For the ones who did pass away and they could not even have a funeral for them. You know what I'm saying? They had to go up online and kind of like do a memorial thing because they cannot go and see them or bury them. New York had a real bad, like, that was horrible. That was sad, what happened there, But I just know that the nursing homes, it's just horrible.
So what about, I think, maybe what's going, like my grandfather, we opt for hospice, so he was home. He didn't go into a hospital. Is hospice still available to families?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's the only way it is available, is if they're in hospice. That is the only way. They got to be on a deathbed in order for families to be allowed to see them.
Okay, hospice, now that's something, there are people, it's not necessarily, there are people that have been in hospice for a couple years. Now, typically, it's when the doctor comes in and says there's nothing else we can do. But I do know people that have been on hospice for an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
But typically, when you think of hospice, when it was first introduced, I was like, I don't want my grandfather on hospice, but it's the greatest. I mean, it was really, they cared, and it's a different experience than them being in the hospital. But then there are underlying, I mean, it's challenging too, because you have to be in a mindset that when it's time for them to transcend, you're there for that. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah. Either way, it's a jacked up situation.
But they're at home.
Yeah. So they do have hospice patients in nursing homes too. And generally what they do is they'll send them their own nurse, their own private nurse. So hospice patients do have it a little bit better than just the regular patients. You know what I'm saying? If they're at home, they'll send them nurses at home. But if they're in hospice in a nursing home, generally they have a hospice team nurse or whatever that comes and visit them outside of what the nursing home already has. But in this particular article for this Life Care Centers of America nursing home, they were complaining about how they reacted during the COVID-19 outbreak. And they were just saying that so many people were quitting that they didn't even, like, they had a dementia unit, 30 dementia patients, and they had a trainee trying to watch 30 dementia patients by herself. What the heck? Wow. That's not possible. You can't do that. But the thing is, a lot of times they'll have these managers as RNs, and the managers they need to come out from offices and when they're short and pick up a cart or help with these patients instead of sitting in there and not doing anything. It's just crazy. They need to have these nursing homes mandated. It's crazy. It's pathetic.
Patricia, would you please share the number so if people want to call in, they can? What's the number?
Yes. So the number to call in is 516-387-1247. Once again, that's 516-387-1247. So definitely you can call in and join our conversation. I know a lot of people have family members in nursing homes, and I don't want anyone to think that we're talking down to you because you had to put your family member in a nursing home, especially if right now you can't even get to them. But it's time to start calling the governors and start trying to get changes for these nursing homes, because it's not just the nursing home where your family member is. It's the nursing homes all across the country. I have worked in different nursing homes all over the United States, and they all have the same issues. So it's not just one. It's not really just this one particular nursing home. It's not just Life Care. What is it? Life Care Centers of America. It's not just them. It's not just the ones in Georgia or just the nursing homes in Ohio or just the nursing homes in New York. These are nursing homes. They're going through this all over the freaking country. So if we had a lot of elderly people in nursing homes pass away, it is because of the negligence and the neglect and things with the short staff. You might have small crew, but you overworking them, and you don't want to bring in agency because you don't want to spend that agency money. But you don't want to really pay your workers, and you don't want to give them the money they're supposed to have. And then you got these RNs sitting up just chilling in these offices who need to be out there on the floor when they short.
Right. So how about the nonprofit organizations that have people that do that type of work? I would also implore them to volunteer if they can. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be about people being paid money per se, to go do that. Like I said, you have to have a certain kind of mind, a certain kind of heart to be in that industry anyway. So some of these nonprofit organizations and volunteers, even the students who do this type of stuff, who are trained to do it, show up.
I mean, that would be I think that they should do that. They should have these different schools and stuff. But now with the COVID-19, it just is more difficult.
But see, all the more reason now why they can't. See, that ain't even an excuse because this damn virus, so-called, is out. Then they should be in a position now to be trained on how to do it and protect themselves also. So that ain't even an excuse. You already know what you need to do to stay protected. Now get protected and get your ass on out there and help somebody else. So it ain't even an excuse now.
Right. What I'm trying to understand is why is it that they're not allowing family members to come in now? Like, I can understand when things were the worst, but now people are supposed to wear masks and all that kind of stuff. So why are they not allowing family members to come in and check on their loved ones at this point again? They just start
because it contributes to the death toll. This is what people are not trying to see. When people are, like we just said, when people don't have access to other people, particularly older people, when they don't have access to family members, their health deteriorates. When their health deteriorates, you're looking at more money because now there's a death benefit. The death benefit goes to the facility where they're at. If they have people that come in there and check on them and can give them love and give them security and all that kind of shit, that messes with their money. First off, I don't want you coming here making my patients feel good because then what's going to happen then if they survive? What's going to happen if you get a chance to take them home? What's going to happen if they don't die? I don't get no money from them. So hell no, they're not going to allow that to happen. That's not what they want. And if people don't start realizing that every damn thing is about money and control, folks ain't getting it. Everything is about money and control. That death toll has to hit a certain number because that's what they plan on. It's based on hitting a certain number. It's based on depopulation. All of that. It has to happen for them.
Hey, now it's, you know what, and I'm going to throw this in here. Just listen to Trump.
I'd rather not.
I'm listening to him. He doesn't care who he's exposing right now. He's telling it like it is. He's telling it like it is. And I'm like,
been telling it.
He's been telling it. Trump ain't never hid who he is from the moment he put his little foot on the campaign trail 4.5 years ago.
But he's exposing people's agendas. He's exposing agendas too. It's not only about him. He's telling you what's going on.
If it's messing with his money, he gonna tell.
And there you go. Whatever
this is business. That's what I'm saying. All this bullshit
going on with him, he's telling it.
It's because it's messing with his money. It's business. He's the president of a corporation called the United States. It's a business. So, yes, anything that's affecting his position or his check, you best believe he's going to expose it. It's a business transaction. That's all it is. It ain't because he all of a sudden got no feelings, he got no care. He could give two shits about what's going on a personal level. It ain't got nothing to do with that. He's a businessman.
Guys, there's a girl. There's a lady from Atlanta that was just interviewed on The Breakfast Club, and I will look up her name in a minute. But she is a Trump supporter, and I would say look at that interview. She was incarcerated, and she's talking about her journey. Now she's successful. She's a book author, and Trump helped her through. He provided different resources. He signed a particular bill, and she runs down what Trump has done in this administration versus what Obama's done, what Obama did. And you guys, let me see her name. But she's from Atlanta, and the interview was dope as heck. The interview was dope, but she's right there in Atlanta. And I'm about to, so wait a minute, I'm about to pull up her name because I wanted to go back and watch and rewatch the interview.
So you're saying that she has done something to benefit people in jail? Is that what you're trying to say?
She was talking about policy versus policy. So she was talking about why she was ever classified herself as a Democrat, because this is what she was told to do. This is what she said, that they said black people Democrats. But then she started looking at getting out of jail, being a single parent of 5 kids, getting released from jail, having no resources. And I'm missing bits and pieces because I need to go back and watch the interview. But I will have her name, so you guys could. I would say it's worth watching. But these policies, in terms of the big deal, was abortion, and how pro-life, and how it was going. A lot of the Democratic policies was going against morals and values. And just because we were told as African Americans that this is what we're supposed to do, we're not really looking at the policy. We're looking at, somebody said, hey, we're black, so Democrats, and that's not the case. So,
I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
I respect whatever the heck, because you have to respect everyone's opinion. But I will say this. Trump is a Republican, and every time the Republicans get in office, every freaking time, I'm talking about Trump, and let's go back to before Bush, every time there'll be a catastrophe, a freaking serious catastrophe. 9/11, and before then, it's always a catastrophe. From the moment that Trump, I don't care what policy he can sign, I don't care. His energy is a hot mess, and it's been like that since he got on the. Everywhere he went, it was chaos and confusion. Every city he went to, every rally, it was chaos and confusion before he became president. Once he became president, for these last 4 years, it has been nothing but chaos and confusion and people losing lives and loved ones, coronaviruses and racial tension and burning rice. Come on now, I don't give a darn. I don't care what he is. Republicans, Democrats.
Also got to look at the platform, the medium of which this information is coming forth. Again, we got the good old media. They can put in front of us whatever they want us to feel, think, Kim. Come on, they can.
You're right, but Trump gonna make sure you know that he can tweet it.
Huh?
I said Trump gonna let you know the real deal because he gonna tweet it. He's a tweeter. He's a tweet fan. He gonna tweet. You gonna know. Okay?
I ain't saying I'm a Trump anything. I'm saying what it is. I'm just saying what the politics, the information, what's going on, what it is. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm just saying the information is coming forth. It's either fact, and you take the fact and you use it.
Right. Well,
right. The fact is, his energy is a hot mess. The fact is, our country has went to freaking.
Yeah, I'm not racist, but I'm just saying that the media can, Trump was perceived as this racist, this and that, and I'm like, yeah, he is, and I'm like, let me really listen. Let me really take the information that God has given me and put it all together. This system, this system. You got this system, and you got. Okay. I think I'm not preaching.
Go ahead.
You know what?
I feel you. Got the kingdom system, and it's time to be in position with the kingdom system. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the only one that's gonna work. With all this stuff going on, it's confusion, it's chaos. But when you get in the middle of hearing God's voice, it's smooth sailing because it doesn't matter what's going on. You got an assignment, it's going to be carried out, despite of whatever else is going on. So like Kim was saying, get out and help somebody. Get your resources, get whatever. Get together and help. It's time to help others. It's time to make a difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whatever our prospective assignments are, however we can help our families and outside of that scope.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
So let me say this real quick, DJ. In dealing with some facts and these political parties, government, whatever the hell, one of the things that has always been an issue for our people, for people that are not directly members, I'll say it that way, of political parties, is the involvement of what I always tell you to get the fuck rid of, and those are feelings. Okay, people are so wrapped up into the emotional connection or the wanting to be emotionally connected to another individual that happens to represent one side of a system or the other, that they're not looking at what the back that up. They're not looking at the fact that it is a system. People want the system to feel some type of empathy, sympathy, compassion for them and do what they want it to do for them, and that's not going to happen. If we start paying attention and communicating and educating ourselves on a business level, because that is all that we're dealing with, if we pay attention on that level, we will know how and what to do, how to survive, how to maintain, how to get out of it. It's a business transaction, and it always has been. It will always be that. Don't no business give two shits about your feelings ever. There is no clause in any business contract that says in the event you don't like this, you feel some kind of way, I hurt your feelings, you can change it. We'll do something different because we want to cater to how you feel. Never is that written. We're not speaking the same language. We're not listening to the same language. None of that. We don't understand the language that's being spoken to us, which is business, period. That's all it is. So everything that Trump is doing, everything that President Obama did, everything that Reagan did, Carter, whoever the fuck, it was based on them being presidents of the company. They're presidents of the corporation. They have a specific job to do. And mind you, they're only presidents of. They're only the president of. They are not the owners. So they too are taking orders. They are doing what they're told to do. They're not they are not the ones. They're just the ones that show the face for the corporation. They show the face for the owner. So they're not even in control. They're doing their job. So we don't understand that their job is business because we're looking at them to help us. That's not their job.
That's right.
Their job is to make sure the corporation runs according to the owners, period. And whatever that means, that's what gets done. That's what the agenda is. I'm putting you in charge of making sure that my corporation remains afloat. Do whatever is necessary to make sure that my bottom line is met by any means necessary, and that's it.
And I keep hearing the word. I keep hearing the word. There is kingdom business as well. It's time because they're doing their business for their agenda. What is God's agenda for us? There is an agenda, and it is so apparent. And I'm sorry I'm like this, but it's being deposited in me. And it's like God was like, you ain't got time to be here.
Did you apologize? Did you apologize?
What, man?
No, ma'am. We don't do that. You said I'm sorry. We don't do that, ma'am. No, ma'am. Nope.
I agree. I agree with you, DJ. God has an agenda too. You know what I'm saying? Like now, we're looking at the world and we're looking at all the things that are going on, and everybody is getting, not everybody, but a lot of people are, losing stuff or whatever. God has led me to the book of Esther, right? And I'm not no Bible scholar. I promise I'm not. But God placed in me to read, and I'm still reading the book of Esther. I never really understood the story at first. So then it became that I understood. Right. So in the book of Esther, Esther's uncle ended up taking care of her or whatever, and they were Jews. So the king, the wife that he had, I guess she wasn't acting right. He kicked her to the curb, and he was looking for a new wife. And so Esther's uncle took her when they were rounding up all the virgins. He took Esther too. The Esther ended up finding favor with the king. You know what I'm saying? And one of the workers or one of the people who was jealous, or whatever, wanted to destroy the Jews. It tripped me out because it made me think about the African Americans and how the African Americans we've been in bondage for a freaking long time. A long time, just like the Jews, a long time. And in the book of Esther, it was like it got to the point where the guy who was in charge wanted to kill the Jews, but Esther had become the wife of the king, and her uncle, who was a guard, was like, "Look, you gotta save the people. You gotta save the people." And then she's just like, "What can I do? I can't just go to him and tell him for help. You know the rules, or whatever." And he said something that was so very important. He told her, he said, "Listen, you may have been placed in the position that you're in right now for such a time as this. And it is your responsibility to do what you can do to help the people. Because if you don't, then God will just raise up somebody else, because somebody else is going to do that assignment. If God has given us giving someone an assignment or whatever, it's going to be done, whether it's you, because we got free will, whether it's you or somebody else. And he told her, he said, either you do it or God will choose someone else, and then you will suffer. Because you did not do what he told you to do, and you were in a position to do it. So it made me think about African Americans in this country. It made me think about the people who are in leadership right now. You know what I'm saying? And also it made me think about the Trump administration and all of that. And I think to myself, a lot of people, and I know I'm jumping the situation a little bit, but a lot of people are in authority because God placed you in that position for such a time as this. And if you do not use your position in the way that God intended you to at this time, he's just going to get an assignment to somebody else, and you are going to perish with all the other wicked, racist, crazy, no good people that's out there, because we are in a season of transition. And if people don't understand it, that's what's going on. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. The earth, the world is going through a transition. And if you don't do what God has told you to do, and the reason why he gave you that position, you too will fall just like the evil people out there who think that they can get away with doing the stuff that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But God gave me that scripture to read, and it's just deep to me because, like you said, God got an agenda too. The world, the evil people, the racist people, the people in power that's trying to keep the black people down and minorities down, they might have an agenda, but God got an agenda. And that's why God sent Moses and Aaron that time to tell the people, listen, either you let my people go. The time of slavery is over. 400 years is done. The curse is over. So either you let my people go, or God is going to send so much havoc and craziness and destruction your way until you will have no choice. So either you let God's people go, or you will suffer. And if you are in a place of position and you are not doing what God has ordained for you to do at this time, you too shall suffer right with them.
And he has a way of making our life uncomfortable, and that's his love for us, because he doesn't want, he still allows us to be protected, but he makes it uncomfortable, where you just be like, I just can't keep doing this. I just cannot keep doing it or I cannot not do it, because he has a way of making your life uncomfortable. And that's just the awesomeness of his love for us. And what he's been telling, what I've been going, God has been sharing. Go back to just the scriptures that when you were 6, 7, 8, you've been raised in church all of your life, and you've been hearing these scriptures, but really go back to those scriptures and meditate on what they mean. You're in the world, but not of it. That's powerful. That's a powerful statement. I'm in it, but not of it. So that means the kingdom system it's got all the tools. It's got all the resources. His resources are unlimited. There ain't no lack. There's no lack in it.
Oh, ain't no lack. That's for sure. I mean,
you're in it, but not of it. So whatever this political, whatever's going on, we got to get clear. If we have clarity. It's like I'm not even affected by what's going on. You be aware of it, but it's not affecting your movement. It's not affecting your process. It's not affecting your resources.
Correct.
It's not affecting your impact.
Because you are in a position that you're supposed to be. See, everybody is all those who are feeling that sense of peace, and in spite of everything that's going on, you are positioned where you're supposed to be positioned at, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what's going on. But everyone that comes to this earth is on assignment of some type. You may not. It may take you a while to figure out what your assignment is, what your purpose is, why you're here. But we're all here for a purpose and a reason. You know what I'm saying? And if God has told you to do something and you're not doing it, if God has, you know that God told you to do this, that, and that, and you're not doing it, He ain't gonna force you. He gonna make you. He gonna go find somebody else. But by the time he finishes whooping your tail like Jonah in the well, you'll be begging him to do what it is he told you to do.
Like Jonah in the well, because you know what? there is consequences. There is consequences to not doing what he's asked you to do. Believe me, I am an example of it. But I will tell you, he has been so good to me. If I think about all of the situations where I know it was him, man, I'm like, God, you are like, I don't even deserve this. And I have went through some things, but if he put a real scale on it, I would be in a worse situation. So that means that his love for us is so real. It's even when I'm telling you, I don't know what this call is, but I'm about to go and run around the room because I feel it. I feel like that. I am so humble and so grateful because talk about when God is giving you assignment and you just don't do it. I am the queen of that. For whatever the reasons are, but God said, I'm going to still bless you. Because I want you to carry the. Okay, I'm done before I start shouting. Bye. I'm putting myself on fire.
Because it's not even about him punishing you. It's just about you. He has a certain path that you're supposed to be on because there are assignments. That there's an assignment on your life, and there are people that you have to meet on this path. So you're not on that path just because. You're on that path because there are other people who are attached to your assignment. And if you are not on the right path, then you're going. That's messed up somebody else's assignment and somebody else's purpose. People are on this conversation.
We had this conversation. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm saying because we've had this conversation. So for it to come back around,
it's the truth.
It's confirmation of fact. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to. But the thing is, when bad things happen, I believe those bad things happen for more than one reason. For one, because it's strengthening your character. You're growing. This is a spiritual growth. This is on this journey. You have to grow spiritually. You know what I'm saying. And not only that, but he a lot of things he protects us from that we don't even know. There are a lot of times you leave out the house, you don't even know that God has got angels all around you. All almost near-death experiences, that was God protecting you. But there are a lot of times when he has told you, don't go that way. And you know he told you don't go that way. Darn it, you know he told you don't go that way. And you said, I'm going to go that way anyway. He's been protecting you all that time. So then when you do what he told you not to do, he's like, oh, okay. All right, then you got free will. I'm just going to hold back a little bit. I'm going to let you go ahead and do you. And when you're ready to come back my way, I got you. So he lets you do you. You go through so many tornadoes and shit, you be trying to run back to that path. You be trying to find your way back to do what he told you to do. God has protected a lot of people every day. You wake up every day, you take stuff for granted. You don't even realize you just missed that accident that could have took your life. You just left the house right before the robber came with the gun. You just made it. God protected you. That's the only reason why you're still here, because you still got an assignment in your life. But he's going to let you go ahead and do you now. Go ahead. You don't want to listen to him, go ahead. I ain't going to force you. But you know what? When you finish learning, when you ain't got your butt whooped, come on back. I got you, because God's love is unconditional. Because you got to go down the path that he got for you, because there are people that you're supposed to meet on that path. There are lives that you're going to change just by what you say or what you do. And if you don't go, it's like you got to be at a certain place at a certain time to meet JoJo. You left the house. You couldn't find your keys. You were 5 minutes late because you looked over the damn house trying to find your keys. You couldn't find your keys. Heck, I'm late. I'm 5 minutes late. Woo! You're driving the car. You're rushing because you know you're 5 minutes late. You end up you had to stop, and you got to go to the gas station, you got to go to the store. You end up stopping, and you end up meeting someone that you would have never met if you had been on time. And there is something that you say to that person, or there's something that you do for that person. You might have given them a ride. You might have said a word to them. You might have given them, you don't know what it was, but it was something that you did, that you had to do. It had to be you. And when you did it, it changed their life. You just don't know it, because you went on about your day. Correct. You know what I'm saying?
That
so
is correct.
It's just deep. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be preaching, y'all.
No, I'm glad you did that, because it's confirmation of what we've already talked about. So you good. And I want to say something real quick too, that because you talked about DJ, you mentioned about being punished, and let me tell you how this thing works real quick.
Okay.
The righteous, and it's real quick. Let me start over. The wicked are punished. The righteous are corrected. So what you get what gets handed to you is an opportunity to change, to get corrected. The wicked, they don't get corrected at all. The punishment comes upon them. So anytime that you get a chance to correct something or to do it again, to wake up the following morning and say, you know what, let me try something different. Anytime that happens to you, it was a correction. Again, we talk about love. Like I say, what is love? People get that confused about how they feel about somebody. Ain't got shit to do with that. It is the application of the truth. It is me saying, I am that I am, and I'm going to show you that, regardless to what you do. Regardless of what you say, this is what I said I'm going to do. This is what I said I'm going to be about, period. The application of truth is what the definition of real love is. That's why we have the favor that we have, not because we deserve it, not because we did anything, but because God is exactly I am that I am. And that's it. I'm going to put y'all on hold on that moment. I need to go and see where my food is. So I'm going to let you continue talking because I'm live, so folks are watching.
Well, I'm going to, you know what, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a music break. Okay, so the call-in number is 516-387-1247. But we're going to take a music break, y'all, because this has been deep. This has been real, real deep. And then we got to get into the other part of our topic, which is about this prison system. So we're going to take a break so everybody can take a breath, on the move, unscripted, on purpose. Go ahead, get you some milk, some juice, some wine, whatever you do to chill, and then come right back. On the move, unscripted, on purpose, y'all.
everywhere. I can't find no one quite like you. The way you make me feel, the way you make me smile, I love you for that, love. Never thought I'd find love. Your love was so kind to me. Said I never see love, and I dreamed about you, and I thirst for you, and you came along and filled me up with love, overflow. And even though my best isn't good enough for you, you still love me, never gave up on me. I wanna thank you for the things you do. Crazy love, love. Yeah, yeah. Never. Oh no, no. Never thought I'd find it. Your love was so kind to me. Everything that a man would ever want. I searched all over, and I can't find no one to love me like you do. You made me feel brand new. Your love is so sweet to me. Never, Lord, your love was so kind to me. Yes, it was. I never thought I'd find it. I searched all over, and I just couldn't find it quite like you do, Lord. I thought that was love, but it wasn't. I went over there, and it wasn't. It was all you, Lord. Your love was so kind to me. I just want to tell you, thank you, Lord. Everything you've done for me brought me out of my mess, Lord. Everything you've done for me, yeah, oh. You made me a new man. Thank you. I thank you for loving me.
Love. They ain't gonna hurt nobody. Yeah. See, love is love. But I want love in its purest form. Yeah. I fell in love young, made my worst mistake. How many you know that puppy love can send a good man astray? So I really could feel it and dig after. So her love can never matter to caught up in the disasters of yesterday. She tried to, I thought I was willing, I lied to, disconnected from my feelings. When she tried to, I tried to, and couldn't recognize that my heart needed healing. But how would I know if this love don't feel wrong to me? It's the only love that I ever known. How would I know if this love don't feel wrong to me? But it's the only love that I ever known. How would I know if this love don't feel wrong to me? It's the only love that I ever known.
Chinese or the Egyptians or somebody. It said these are the three worst things: to lie in bed and sleep not, to wait for one who comes not, to try to please and please not. They all fit me, don't they?
These days of my life, I survive, but I'm caving in the dead of the night. All the lies, waking up for him and the phone that's stuck in my side. He's gone and makes me wonder. Days and the nights and the nights and the days again. He wanna know where I stay, where I've been this love. He's so crazy, what's it to be with a new sense of wonder. I don't know where you've been, where you go. I don't wanna know. I don't know. Don't you leave me out. Say what you mean when you're talking to me. Don't you leave me out. Baby, don't you leave me out. But now all the walls that we built are coming down. We cannot hide from a world so safe and sound. Love don't exist in here now. Silence makes me wonder. Don't you leave me out.
You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move Unscripted on Purpose. And I just want you to know that we're back with my girls, and we're about to hit a really heavy topic. So I hope y'all ready. And I'm going to just tell y'all this. Don't be tripping on us. Don't be getting mad at us about nothing that we say, about how what Kim say, don't go by your feelings. Don't get wrapped up in your feelings about what we about to be talking about, because we about to be talking about something heavy, and that is the prison system and modern-day slavery, because I'm telling y'all that right now our prison system is our modern-day slavery. It just really is. And I never really realized it, y'all, until I actually saw this guy's and I don't even remember what his name was, but I saw his show and his YouTube thing, and he took us all the way back, y'all. He took us all the way from when they first came over on the boat. You know what I'm saying? When they first brought us over here on the boat, all the way up to modern day. And when you look at it, when he started talking about different stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, slavery has never changed. It just upgraded as the times went. It just changed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He was talking about the fact that the prisons have to have a certain number of beds filled. He was talking about the free labor and how a lot of corporations that we get products for on a daily basis are basically getting these services done through the prison system. So basically, and that minorities and African Americans are targeted as those people to fill those beds, to do those things for free. They don't have, I guess now they started changing where they're starting to give them rights and stuff like that. But basically, prison is modern day slavery. So that's why you got a lot of these police officers somebody on one of the rappers call them KKK cops. You got a lot of them out there who are targeting and beating up on African Americans so they can put them in jail, so they can put them in that slavery thing that they got going on in prisons. Am I right or wrong? Take the wheel from me now. Because I'm just saying.
No, you're not wrong.
Let me get some air.
You're not wrong.
We actually have a caller
like...
on the line. We have a caller on the line.
Let them speak.
Your number is 313.
Detroit.
I can't. Let me silence everybody except for the 313 because I can't hear who it is. So, the 313. Dr. A. Marie in the house.
Yes.
Dr. A. Marie in the house. I haven't heard your voice in a while.
Listen,
what is your?
I have a comment on this because I worked in the male maximum security prison for many years, and prison isn't new. Prison is designed to be a slave game. It is designed that way. It is not designed to rehabilitate. It is only designed to restrict. That's it. Restrict mixing and mingling with the rest of us. That's it. That is all it is by its very nature. From the building to the services that are provided, that is the point of our prison system. That has been the point. So anybody who gets anything different while they're there is getting a bonus. I don't agree with it. I'm just telling you what I know.
Well, once upon a time, I think definitely before the new millennium, but, they were allowed, because they were trying to do rehabilitation, and some of the inmates were allowed to go get their GED or high school diploma and take some college courses so that they will be, my God, the sunset is amazing. I was mesmerized for a moment. But so that they will be able to get out and readjust to society. But now, because you had a lot of middle-class people and upper-class people that's like, hey, why do these people who committed a crime get to go take college courses for free? And my children, and I'm paying this outrageous amount, and they get to take it for free, so they quickly took it out of there. Now, they do have some skills, where you could learn masonry and little stuff like that. But you'll see some inmates that's out. I saw a group of inmates when they were rehabbing in elementary school, and they came out and they did the rehabbing, and they came out and, because they refixed the schools, they did the landscape, the playgrounds, they did all of that. Now, something like that, a construction group can charge thousands and thousands. These inmates only received about $20 a month, and they are the highest paid. There are people who come out and do asbestos that charge $50 an hour. These inmates are putting their lives on the line for $22 a month, because everybody in there has to have a job if they're not in school. And half the time, the teacher's a joke. He don't really care, or she don't really care if they're learning or not. So it's definitely designed, they say, well, we do this to rehab you, but what good does it do anyway when you get out and people see that you've been in prison? You may have paid your debt to society, but society will never allow you to say, oh, that debt is repaid. Oh, well, you're an inmate. Or if you get a felony, this felony, if you have one felony and you stay out of trouble for 5 years, depending upon the felony, you may be able to get it removed. But if you have more than one, they just recently changed to, I think you can have up to 2 felonies. But a lot of times when you get in trouble, you're getting hit with like 9 or 10 felonies. And 95 cases that goes to court plead out, and they'll like, okay, well, we'll drop this, this, and this, and this, but they still got you on 2 or 3 felonies. But if you're only going to let one felony go after 5 years, how in the hell are they ever going to really be able to get their shit in order unless they're entrepreneurs, because they're never going to get a chance to do so, because society is never going to allow them to do so.
Let's talk about the underplay for the overplay. When you just so I'm clear, when you hear for every program that you hear that a prison is implementing, whether that's a GED program, whether that's a work to release program, for every program that you hear about, you better believe that prison or that system is getting a kickback for that. They are not doing that for the benefit of the people that are in prison or for the population. That's a vicarious effect that happens sometimes. But it is not for rehabilitation. It is for money. It's for that bottom dollar.
Because if you notice in the Clinton administration, a lot of prison systems are now privately owned. So it's not like the state this money is going back to the state. These are privately owned, so they can basically do whatever the hell they want to. And they're getting a huge kickback.
Hold on. You said that the prisons are now privately owned by private corporations and companies and individuals. So basically anybody could be owning these prisons, and they could have any kind of jacked up agenda to basically like KKK, like the white supremacy group. Any of them could be owning these prisons. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know what the criteria is to own a prison. But what I am telling you is that a lot of people, including myself, believed that all the, if you go, oh, you got state time. I'm thinking, okay, well, the state is taken, because when you go in, they're like, you are now property of the state. But that prison is not owned by the state. These are private owners. And, instead of, and they know it's a big business, because you would much rather, they could build a lot of reform centers and schools to educate, but there's no money like it is in modern day slavery. Oh, you mean I can get these 100 workers come out and knock this shit out, as opposed to this construction company that want to charge me tens of thousands and thousands? But if I pay you half that amount, I can still get the same amount of labor. That's almost like when General Motors took their business over to Mexico because they could pay the Mexicans a fraction of the price of what they were paying Americans, but they were still producing their cars. You found it.
Like,
the demand is high.
Did you ever hear at a time when the prisoners were making the license plate? Do you remember that?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
So and we paid for that. Like
the pavement. They were also making. When I worked for ODOT, they worked with OPI, which is Ohio Penal Institution, and they would do the pavement. Those little markers that go into the highway. They also did that because I remember visiting, and they also built office furniture for businesses.
So if they have been targeting African Americans and they've been putting them in jail for little stuff like, a little bit of weed, which is now legal. We all know it's legal now because they didn't figure out that they can make money off of it. So now it's legal. But before, it wasn't legal, so they was putting people in jail for little legal stuff. They were stopping people for, the backlight being out, and then they get into a conversation, all of a sudden they in jail or they did or whatever, and now they got all these kind of extra charges when all it was a blinking taillight that wasn't working. Well, when we talk about the fact that the African American community has been targeted by the police and have been taken to jail with all these trumped up charges and put in jail. I remember in Fulton County, when I was a Fulton County nurse, I remember in Fulton County jail, they would have those inmates in there for freaking months, some of them years, and never get a freaking trial. How do you have somebody incarcerated for something for years and never give them a trial? You holding them all that time, and they never got to prove if they was innocent or guilty. They never even got the opportunity to go before the jury of their peers or whatever. You didn't have them in jail for 4 years. I had people that used to tell me, I've been here for 4 years. When your trial date? They ain't gave me one yet. What?
Okay. So Angela.
I mean, that's still going on.
Angela, her name is Angela let me see my eyes. Stanton or Stanton. She's the one from Atlanta that did the interview with the Breakfast Club, and she was talking specifically about that under the Democratic Party that they put in those strict policies with the prisoners because it was like the 1, 2, 3 rule. You get out, you got a charge, and then when you're out, it's like, it was 3 strikes, you're out. And Angela was talking about how under the Democratic Biden, how they put those strict policies in, and probably before President Obama got in office, how they put in those strict guidelines.
It was during the Clinton administration.
Allow them, Clinton administration. But then she talked about the Obama administration as well. But she said the Trump has signed bills, and there have been many prisoners released, many prisoners released, because it was a high percentage of them going to jail, and then the 3 strikes you're out, they were serving life sentences for non-violent crimes. So because of that, 3 strikes you're out. So she was saying that Trump has signed these bills that have released thousands of prisoners, especially in the African American population, that has allowed them to come home and be released.
Well, thank you, Master, for letting us free.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, when you think about the policies and when the vote, we can't look at the names of the parties. We got to look at the policy. We have to look at the policy. So there you go. That's my.
I got a question for y'all. What is the definition, according to the system, of rehabilitation? What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
What's the definition of rehabilitation according to the system? Because if you look at it, this is what happens. It's just my thought. When you have people who have served prison time, just my thought. When you have people who have served prison time, and I'm pretty sure most of them at least a lot of them, have served many days in solitude by themselves, have had a real effect happen to them psychologically for being trapped in a room by themselves for days, and days in, nights in, just by themselves, not even in the general public no more. That's a whole different atmosphere. Psychologically, that's a different atmosphere. But you have people who are going from that system, that are going from that, and the so-called rehabilitation time when they're now sent out into the public, they're sent back out into society. During the time that they're so-called going through this rehabilitation, what are they learning different? How have they been recovered psychologically? How are they healing from the trauma that they have experienced? They're being sent back out into a world that now has changed completely from what they're used to, and they're not being shown how to survive in it. Therefore, they get back into society doing the same shit or something else to put them back into the system that they got used to, because they have no idea how to survive in the world. So where is the rehabilitation? Where they rehab?
Okay, I would like to.
It's not like you. They want them to go back.
I would like to answer that.
They want them to go back.
Exactly.
My son was in prison for 6 years, and he was in there for 6 years. What rehabilitated him was his family. A lot of those prisoners rather stay in prison than come out because they have nowhere to go, they have no support, so they want to be in prison. Now, when the guard told me that one time, one visit, I never forgot that, but he said, really, they want to be here because there's nothing else out for them. Son, he had a group of people, his family was there all the time, visits, checking up, but if you don't have that, I know when he got released, he was given a PO. He was given things he had to do. Jobs, trying to find jobs is a challenge, especially depending on what your record is. So then I think that's where we educate them to be entrepreneurs. And I know it's a process. But for them to come out and get a job and rehabilitate, I don't know. Kim, the services are there, but they're general services. But then you got some that rather stay in prison. They rather stay in prison. They don't want to be out. They rather stay in prison.
So we have a caller on the line, another caller on the line, DJ, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to speak about their feelings. So this particular caller, your number is not a 715. 715. Hello. With the deep voice. Hello. How do you do? You have tuned in on Move Unscripted.
How you doing, guys? How you doing? Very interesting topic here.
Okay. So what are
very
your
interesting
thoughts
points. My thoughts are, and I mean, please forgive if I offend anyone.
Before you start, tell us where you're calling from. Before you start, where are you calling from, and what's your name? You can give us a fake name.
I'm calling from Dubai. My name is Nicodemus, and I'm calling from Dubai. No, nothing fake.
Okay,
I'm responsible for my words.
Okay.
So my thing is, I do understand what everyone is saying, and it's very valid. But I find us more on the begging to be accepted side of this. If we know this is a problem, we as a institution, a black institution, we as a multi-trillion-dollar industry that white people tap in, but we don't together to be a force to be reckoned with. What do we have to offer those who come back out of prison? See, white people go to prison for the same shit. But you know what? Their cousin owns a construction company. Their uncle owns, or their father-in-law owns something. They have something to give to them. We sit, do nothing about it, but we complain that when our people who was wrongfully put in jail, mind you, the society makes money off of jail, a.k.a. the new slavery. Why are we so fucking stupid to think that they want them to come out and be productive? If it was if it was meant for them to be productive, why do they have to put down registered? I'm gonna leave sex offenders out of the situation, but felon, you have to still put that down. You have to follow this with you all along and understand the psychology of it. When you say convicted felon, you're not interested in what they did. Your mind automatically demonizes this person. If we know that enough to have these conversations, then what the fuck do we do to have something for ourselves, for our wrongly accused or what we deem rehabilitated people, sons, mothers, daughters who come out of prison? We're just talking shit, asking white people to once again to throw us another bone. If we believe the words we're saying, get off our ass, establish something so that way Pookie, sorry to be stereotypical, but I need everybody to get this, so Pookie can have the same damn benefits as John when he gets out of jail for meth. He's a reformed meth head, but you know what? He can get a job at a construction site because his uncle owns one, his cousin owns one, or his cousin knows someone who owns one. We don't have anything. All we can do is go to our white boss, and maybe Pookie can be a sweeper, maybe. But we're still begging. The fact is, we can't. The more of us that have these intellectual conversations with these deep thoughts, the more asinine we really reveal we are, because we're talking and we want white people to do the legwork for us. We should be doing the legwork. We're asking white people to let what they established benefit someone, for benefit our blacks who their system put us in jail. They make money of us going to jail. Why do you think they take your voting rights away? Not that I believe in voting, but they know you do. So they take. Why? If it's about rehabilitation, why is it so hard for you to get your record expunged? Why is it so hard for you to vote again? Why is it hard to get a passport? Why is it so hard? Even when you get out of jail, do you understand when you go to certain jobs that you have to pay a kickback? So they have jobs on the list when you get out of prison. They have jobs on the list that they'll send you to. They are called preferred employers. So therefore, when you get out of jail, you go to these employers, get a job. Sometimes even great jobs, General Motors jobs. But you have to give a kickback to General Motors. So you may be making $21 on paper, but you may have to give back $7 an hour back to General Motors for them hiring you because you're a felon or because you were in prison. We have to understand, if we're not going to provide something for these people, something institutionalized for them by us, then we need to stop talking shit about what the white people who put us there won't do for us once we get out. Because that's all we're doing.
Say that. Exactly.
If we're not going to put our money together and establish some businesses, if we're not going to forget that, if we're not going to put our money together and just support the businesses that are already established, we are the fools. The free ones. See, those that are in prison, they're actually more intelligent because they have no rights. They're locked up. We're free and doing what locked up people do. We're free and choose to do what locked people do. They have no choice. We have choices, and we choose to exercise them. Sitting here twinkling our toes, having these great, mind you, great intellectual conversations, they are great. But so the fuck what? Now what? When we hang up, we're going to turn on Netflix, white ass Netflix. We're going to get on white ass Facebook and beat our chest like we just gave a State of the Union address, the most profound speech we ever gave. But guess what? When your son come out of jail, he's still subject to the same system, even more, because now he's registered, and now they know where he is. So now he's even more of a victim than what he was when he went in. So what are we going to do about it?
Exactly. On purpose, with purpose. That's what we're going to do about it. That's exactly it. I'm glad you called. I am glad you called. And then it's still psychologically in prison, even when they physically get out. Because, like you said, there is nothing for them to go to to become rehabilitated, and they're still going to have the psychological scarring because they've been in the prison system. They're still in their mind that they are locked up. They still come out with a locked up mentality, some kind of way, because they already know they're going to be blocked in society. They already know there's going to be limitations on them immediately, because that's all society is going to see is a number on him or her, what they did. So I see them as a stone, not as an opportunity to progress. They don't get that fair chance. They don't get it. He's absolutely right. Nick is absolutely correct.
I have a question for you, Kim, and for Nicodemus. So what y'all are saying is true, and a lot of African Americans need to be providing those opportunities. But how can we do that if when we try to give a loan or something like that, or get money to start these businesses, we are being turned down left and right. African Americans are being held down from even starting companies to be able to help these felons or help these people. I don't even want to call them felons because some of them are in there for some BS, and everybody ain't Pookie. We got Pookies on the corner that keep acting up and they ain't never been right. That's true. But then you also got some Davids and some Johns and some white-collar people who just got caught up at the wrong time, at the wrong place, with the wrong person, and they still got messed up, or they got pulled over for that broken tail light that ended up becoming the next statistic because they fought back, or they didn't want the police to beat them up. So the police put all these extra charges on them, and now they in there for all this time. So everybody ain't in jail ain't truthful. There's some Davis, there's some Johns, there's some Karens, there's some people, some white collars. But there are a lot of companies like myself, like Kim, I know, like a lot of people who have been trying to start businesses for a long time. But they also, just like the prisoners, if you got one bad strike on your credit report, oh, my gosh, you can't get that SBA loan. You can't get that assistance that you need to start that business. So here you are still trying to spin the wheel. So it's like it's not easy for us. It's not that we don't want to help. It's like we're being suppressed, too. The people, African Americans, are being suppressed, period. It ain't just the felons. It ain't just the people in jail. It's also the people who are not in jail.
I have a question.
Here's what's different. Hold on one second. Here's what's different. We, as black people, don't support our own. When other people go into business, they fund, their family helps to get them started. They don't go begging nobody for no money. They're doing this in their family. They've already established funds to help Johnny and Karen and whoever else get off their feet to get their business funded. We sitting around, we buying cars and getting blinged out with dumb shit or whatever. We're not using our money correctly in the first place. So now we're put in a position because we put ourselves in a position to have to beg and ask, can we please borrow? We'll give it back when we can't. We put ourselves in that position. If we were helping each other, helping our own families, individually and collectively doing that, we wouldn't have to be asking nobody for shit. We wouldn't have to worry about going to any financial institution and being turned down based on no credit. We wouldn't need that shit because we would have been able to do it on cash. We wouldn't have to ask permission. We're still in that mind frame, and the only way that we're going to continue to be held down is if we refuse to rise up. That's our fault. We got to hold our own self accountable for where we are, for where we've been and where we're going. We can't keep asking people to do shit for us.
But that's the problem. That's the problem, Kim. What? That's the problem. We don't want to support each other. You can't get. There are people in everybody's family who have something. They have money. They have connections, but they won't help that family member that they know trying to make it because of whatever their issues is, their problems is, they mental. So it's like because
Willie Lynch program has said that you are better than him. Willie Lynch program said that you are better than her. Willie Lynch program says that there is competition between your whole family on every angle. There's competition there. There's always going to be crabs in the bucket. That's a conditioning. So we got to get unconditioned. And the only way to get unconditioned is to unlearn what we've been taught and remember what we know, have communication with each other, get our money together, stop spending money in the goddamn hair salons and nail salons and buying these punk-ass cars and all that shit. Put the money together and do what we need to be doing for each other.
But our biggest problem is and I know some people in here are going to get totally a bad taste in their mouth for this, but it doesn't matter. You need to understand facts here. So some feelings are feelings, but facts is facts. we mentioned everything else, but what's the only thing? And forgive me for saying, when I say Pookie, it's not about Pookie David. I needed to put it to where, because even when David gets out of jail, when he gets out, to the white people, he Pookie. That's how he gets classified. So I don't believe in the Pookie situation, but I had to put that there so people understand. That gives them the right to put you as a Pookie. You know, you're a David if I want you to be, but you're also a Pookie if I want you to be. So, but hear this. What's the only institution that white people gave us since the indoctrination of slavery, since we've been here, that we can go to, we can put our money in, we can fund it? They don't bother us. As long as we go to this one institution, we are good nigger folk. Thank you. So therefore, that's what the fuck you start. You know, listen to me here. That they deposit over $200 billion every fucking week of your fucking money. Stop paying your goddamn tithes if the business of church will not benefit you. Stop paying your damn tithes. That's why we're no threat. We give so much money to the church. The black church is a money laundering system, because you give your tithes to a black institution every week. Then you got Bible study. You got building fund. Then you got love offering on Sunday. On Monday or Tuesday, they deposit all that money into the bank that your ass can get a loan in. But then some white man comes, or developer comes and applies for a loan, and they hand him your fucking bag of money to go buy land next door to you and fucking overdevelop your ass out your own community with the money that you fucking gave. That's your money that financed gentrification. So let's be real. See, the problem with feelings, what I don't like, you have the right to feel how you feel. But before you act and before you act on that and speak on those feelings, fact check the elements that got you to those feelings. You might find you're feeling the right way on the wrong information. So we're not mentioning church. Church is the number one pets in the damn community. That's why white people gave it to us. That's what 501c3 is. That's why they gave them this protection. Because the white man knows, if I want to do something to the black community, I don't want to go door to door knocking on dirty niggas' doors. I don't want to touch a nigga door handle. But you know what? I would rather rub elbows with one uppity nigga, a.k.a. your pastor, and he'll control the 10,000 niggas for me.
We're also
That's why you only see.
I disagree. 100%. I mean, and I'm not saying not all churches, because Tricia and I've been to a church where we've tithed, faithfully, and the pastor wasn't available for 6-7 months. He got a hold of us. He didn't got beside himself. But I've also been in a couple churches where the pastors were poor as hell, and I'm like, well, what is but it is a small church. But I've came across a couple pastors, not a lot. Everybody's flawed because we're all human. But my purpose for tithing is not to get the pastor the Cadillac or the car or whatnot. That's the requirement that's from God. And I personally, I can't speak for everybody else, but I can tell the difference from when I tithe and when I don't tithe. I may not give the 10%. It may not go towards the church. It could go towards, as long as it's going towards something of humanitarian purposes, I feel like that's part of God's work. You're trying to help the people that's in the street. Some of them don't want help, but I can't say don't tithe and all churches are fake, because I know that not to be true. And from my personal experience, I can't speak for nobody else.
What we are talking about is, this is Dr. A. Marie. What we're not talking about, I think an important component is, what are we doing prior to people getting locked up? What are we doing prior to not having enough money to sustain our own well-being and get the credit and get the things that we need for our community? What are we doing? It starts in the home. It starts early. The prevention starts early. The prevention starts from the time of birth. I think we need to start looking at what we're missing and where, as black people, we can be responsible for the start of this chaos and confusion that continues on through some people's lives. where can we start?
I have to agree with Marie.
It's better
I feel like
than it is to raise an adult. It's easier to raise it than it is to raise an adult as well.
That's true. I have to agree with Marie, though. I agree with Marie. The reason that I can say I agree with Marie is because I, too, have had times when I have given tithes. And I'm not just talking about a church, because I agree with the gentleman. When God says, give, it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, rolling over, that doesn't necessarily have to be a church house. Because if you walk past a homeless person and that person asks you for $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, or asks you for some money, and you know you got that in your pocket, and you pass by them because you're tired of them begging you, that to me is like you don't know who that person is. You assume that that's a dirty little bum, but how do you know that's not an angel in disguise? You really don't know. How do you know you're not being tested? I have heard a lot of people be like, I don't want to give them my money. Okay, but you'll give it to, you'll go into the church, like you said, some of them, because some churches aren't right. I know that. But it's not our job to try to figure out who is what. But anyway, you'll go into a church and you'll give your time to the church, but you won't give it to the homeless man. You know what I'm saying? You know you got a family member that's trying to start a job or start a business, and you know you got the money. You know you got money coming in, some people. Or you got the bond credit, and you know their idea is good, but you still won't help them. Why is that? That ain't got nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying about the church, but it's not just that, it's the people's mindset. It's just they don't want to give. It's like they feel like if they give to someone, whether it's an institution or a person or anybody, if they give, then they won't have enough for themselves. And it's like they try to hold on to it, and that's why we don't prosper as a community, because nobody wants to work together. And you could say, oh, the churches ain't this and that, but I know many mega churches who feed the homeless. I know many mega churches who give little loans and this, that, and the other to their members. It just depends on the church. It's not the whole institution of churches, because there are some really good churches who really do try to help them. But there's criminals in every area.
How do you take half of what I said and then mute me? Y'all went all the way down the wrong street. So if I can finish what I'm saying, everything you're saying will be addressed. You cut me off, muted me, and then y'all took it down the wrong street. So back to what I was saying, I don't give a damn about, I didn't say don't tithe at all if you would let me finish, but you are definitely responsible what the institution that you tithe to do with your money. You are a damn fool if you think, just because I'm being obedient to God, I'm going to give. You don't think the enemy fucking knows that? Why do you think he gave your ass the opportunity to do so? Why do you think he gave you tax deduction? Why do you think you gave you 501c3? Now, I don't give a damn how you feel. Look up statistically. Where do you think the developers got the goddamn money to develop your grandmama out her fucking community? Her tithe money. So, therefore, it is not about the church feeding the fucking homeless. It's about the church calling a goddamn bank. Listen, we deposit all this money. Give our damn congregation of 10,000 people a special interest rate. Bring somebody in here to teach them about financial education. Give them financial education. They'll come. Stop feeding the homeless. That's a tax deduction. What they fucking do? My thing is, do that too. Do that too. Do that too. So wait, stop, please, because what you did was not right. Wait, no, please stop, because you cut me off and muted me, and then y'all said a whole bunch of. You look up statistics. I don't give a damn how you feel. Look statistically how much money your church bring in.
So we can hear you.
Look at how much money your church bring in. Because listen, our religion is our downfall, because we're scared to think logically about something we've been domestically trained to do. You do have the obligation for where your tithe money goes and what the institution does with your money. We are giving. If you ever notice, the people we give our money the most to give the least back to us. They only come around when white people call them. Now, I'm not saying every single church, but enough to be. Look at Atlanta. All these damn mega churches. What the hell has happened to Atlanta? They're not doing a damn thing. They don't show up for nobody. They don't help nobody. They don't come and do nothing collectively that helps the community.
I disagree, because New Birth Baptist Church in Atlanta does help. So I have to say that. They do.
Yeah, you're right. They got good dick, the little boys. Look at what New Birth did. What did New Birth do? They just gave millions of dollars of your money to settle a damn sex scandal. It wouldn't even make them step down. So you can disagree all day, but look at the facts. I live in Atlanta. When I'm not in Abu Dhabi, my house is in Atlanta. My family goes to New Birth. So they do shit for community, but what do they do? What do they do? They don't support no black business. Look, okay, for example, look at the mortgage crisis.
That's not true. You support black business. That's not true. That's not true.
They do not create shit for the black community enough to make a damn difference.
When's the last time you went to New Birth? When's the last time you went there? That's my question to you. I'm not trying to argue.
I don't even think it's
we don't have to argue, but the last time I went there was when they defended Eddie Long for fucking little boy. That's the last time I've been there, and they never did that.
Right. But when was the last time you went?
So before the money, what did we do? Before the money, what did we do? We made it a crime. We made it insane. We made it embarrassing for the next set of fucking victimized people to come forward because we glorified the fucking victim. That's before the money. I put that before money.
So once again, my question to you is: when was the last time you went to New Birth? That's what I'm asking.
My question and my answer was the day Eddie Long, and they told him they're gonna fight for my pastor. After it came out, he fucked the little boys. Period.
Okay, so basically, you have not been there since Jamal Bryant has taken over. Is what you're saying to me?
No, not the one with the white wife. No.
So you're still talking about the past? Is what you're talking about with Eddie Long? Yes, he did some messed up stuff. Everybody knows it. What I'm saying is, have you been since the new pastor has taken over? Have you seen what they've been doing?
May I ask the question? If I was a murderer or if I was a rapist, until I fix what I've done, just because it's a new day. That's the same shit that the white man asked you for slavery. Get over it. We ain't gonna address that. Let's get over it. I don't give a damn what you do right now. Let's talk about some other shit. But at the same time, I'm not itemizing one church. I'm not itemizing one church. This is bigger than one church. This is a collective institution.
Right.
So if you find a church that's doing that, if you find a church,
okay, but listen, that's the same reason why
support that church. If you find a church that's doing that, support that church. That's the same reason. Wait a minute, though. You just said you don't care about what they're doing now because you're still looking at the stuff that happened in the past. No.
That's the same thing that happened to felons when they get out of jail because they tell them, I don't give a damn that you reformed or you feel like you ain't going to do this shit no more because I'm looking at what the fuck you did yesterday. And that's the same thing we go to from a corporation or a company.
No, I'm not. It's your duty. That's not what I'm saying. It's your duty. It's your duty. I'm different. I'm clean. I fucked up. It's not. See, that's how people get fucked up all the time. AKA a lot of black women. They don't hold people accountable. You owe an explanation for the shit you did. Just because you have a conversation about who you are today. We assume we give a break, and then guess what? We find out that you the same when we get bit in the ass again. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation that should change.
Feel like
we're not going to sue
I feel like
because you went to jail. You may come back
like
with a scheme 2.0.
I feel like out of every community, beyond the church, out of every community, black people are the only ethnic group that I see that do not get along. They don't. When I see these foreigners come over here, they have their families working with them. I work with Africans. As they get money, they send them for more Africans. I see white people sticking together, making sure they squeeze black people out, no more than 1% working for prestigious companies. But black people, as I see, as they climb the fucking ladder, they do not turn back and look around to help their fellow man. And I feel, in my own personal opinion, is because they scared that they're going to have more than what the fuck they got. The first thing we got to do, without relying on white people, is learn how to get along with one another. Quit being so jealous of one another. That is the big issue, and that's the issue at hand. Because you can't expect white people to give a damn about Black Lives Matter when black-on-black crime has not even started slowing down. And that's real. Hello?
Yeah. So Patricia has been kicked off. It's 10 o'clock, so y'all already know we are no longer live on Blog Talk.
Maybe
we are live still on Facebook, but yeah.
Man,
so
Nicodemus was pissed, wasn't it? But you know what?
Let's wrap this up because that's the end of that. So she was telling me to end the show. Indeed. So we're gonna leave it with all of that there. A lot was said. We can probably continue this conversation next week, or even if you want to come on my show Monday, y'all can do it or whatever. But I'm grateful that everybody was able to at least get some point across. Some information was shared, even though we have disagreements like we always do. It don't matter. As long as we are able to have the communication, that's what's up. Learn from it, be edified. We're going to wrap it up. We don't have too much time to say nothing else other than, well, everybody can give their final words and don't necessarily have to be on this particular topic, but what would you tell everybody? What's your final words for the people that are still watching? Real quick, everybody. Marie? I guess nothing. Okay, so we're gone. Anyway, y'all